Hello, this is Debbie from Homestrung Jewelry.
And Steve from Homestrung Jewelry.
I'm here today to show you how to make a couple of new designs from the Firecracker box. I'll first of all show you some of the new designs I've worked up, and then we'll get right into the tutorials. One of the designs I'll show you how to make today is this earring. We're calling this tutorial Fun with Tilas, and all of these projects use the Tilas that were in that Firecracker box. The earring will go with just about any of the projects that we've made using the Tilas, so we'll get into this one in a minute. The other project that will be a tutorial in today's video, see if I can maybe push this horizontally here, is this Zig-Zag Bracelet using the Tilas. And I chose to do a tutorial on it because it was just fun. But at the end of the video, even though it's not a tutorial, I will go over how I made the materials used and the sizes that are needed to do this version of this bracelet, again using the Tilas and just some seed beads. And I will go over this stretch cord bracelet that let me put it down here where it can be seen. Okay, again you can see it's using the Tilas. And the last project I'll show you, but I won't be going over how I made it. There's a possibility of a future tutorial on it. Plus, I need to finish it. But the Tila portion is complete. And that's this one. It's going to be a necklace. And it uses the Tilas in here. I was just going to attach that beaded pearl chain. Or you could do leather cord or ribbon. Or anything you wanted to finish this into a necklace. But this is just an example of how to use the Tilas in making up what would be a necklace design. So give me just a few minutes to get set up with the first project, which will be the earrings, and I'll be right back to show you how to make them. Okay, I'm back, and before I get started with the material list, Sandy, if you're out there, you asked on our previous video where you could get Tilas from, and I answered your comment and told you that I would have Steve put a couple of links in this video as to where I purchase my Tilas from. And also, if you are a subscriber or you bought the Firecracker box, I do have leftover bags of Tilas that were in the boxes, and we're offering those to our subscribers or purchasers of the Firecracker box. If you want additional sets, they will be $5 per set. You'll get the same thing you got in the box, the red, white, and blue Tilas, and that also includes the shipping. And did I say $5?
Yeah,
okay,
something like that.
$5 for an extra set. You do have to email me because I don't want to put it through the website. I don't want you to have to pay a $6 shipping fee for just a few small bags of Tilas. But for as long as they last, if you want some extra sets, just let me know and I'd be happy to ship them out to you.
I'll put Debbie's email link down in the description. It won't link, and so you'll need to copy and paste it into your email program, but I will put that in there.
Okay, now let's just get on to how I made this little earring. It's a fairly quick, simple project. It uses the cute little flip-flop charms that were in the box. You'll need a set of ear wires, not in the box. A couple of jump rings, again, not in the box. But then for the Tilas, you just need 2 of the full Tilas, which are the white ones. You'll need, actually you'll need 4 for a pair of earrings. Just for one earring, you need 2. For the blue half Tilas, you'll need a total of 6, 3 per earring. And for the red quarter Tilas, you will need 12, 6 per earring. You will also need 1 length of a 6-inch piece of 24 gauge wire, which I have right here, and I've already measured it out. 26 gauge wire would work just fine. I think 22 gauge would be more challenging to work with, but I won't say it wouldn't work. So,
and we're obviously going to need some tools too, I guess.
that's right. For the earring here, I'm probably just going to use my round nose pliers. Find out how to get it into the camera here. My chain nose pliers and the wire cutters, flush cutters. You'll need those. Okay.
We use there's no thread or anything on this.
Not on this one. This just uses the wire.
Cool.
Sort of thing. And let's just start in. First thing I did was I made a wire wrapped loop on the end of the wire. Bringing in my round nose pliers. Now, I will warn you, I have a very different method for making wrap loops. Steve and Shanda keep trying to re-educate me, but I'm pretty well locked into the way I make them.
Yes, Debbie does it her way. We do it the right way.
Anyway, I grab my wire enough so that I can grab this end to do the wrapping. I hope you've made a wrap loop before. If not, Steve will maybe put the link to our how to make a wrap loop video up in the corner of this one. Anyway, I bend the wire down 90 degrees. With this finger, I push it up and over that top jaw, all the way around. Now, what I'm after here is a complete circle. So the best way to do that is to just rotate my jaws around, grab that wire end, and just keep going around that jaw. And then when I've made a complete circle, gone completely around once, as you can see, it's always reverse. As you can see, I've just got a circle there. So there's the loop. Now we want to wrap it. The thing about wrap loops is that they are very secure. They never pull apart and come undone on you so that you lose your piece of jewelry. So grab the loop with some chain nose pliers. Now this is where it gets different. Most people will grab this tail with their fingers or another set of pliers to do the wrapping. Me, I brace my pliers and my loop here on my index finger, and I use my thumb to start pushing that wire around. Then I rotate it fully, continue to use my thumb and finger, and I pull that wire tail around. So here I've gone around once. There's 1.5. Turn, grab it, come around halfway again. So now I have 2 full wraps on that wire end. See if I can get up here so you can see. Okay, now all I do is I just trim off my tail. And then I use chain nose pliers. Let's see, I gotta go down. I can't watch the camera and what I'm doing at the same time. So then I just take that end and I just pinch with my chain nose and tuck that wire end in so that it doesn't poke out and grab anything. Feel it with my finger. It feels pretty good. That might be the worst part of these earrings. So I'm just straightening the wire out a little bit with my thumb and finger. Now I'm just going to put the beads on. And we start with one of the red quarter Tilas. Thread it onto the end of the wire. Move it up. Blue half Tila. Move it up. Another red quarter Tila. One of the white. Did that red fall off? It did.
Yes, it did.
Okay, we'll put it back on and move it up so it can't fall off. One of the white Tilas. One of the red. One of the blue. One of the red.
It's pretty much a red one between each of the Tilas,
Yeah.
looks like.
Yeah, you're alternating the blue and white and sticking a red in between every one. If you want a different type of explanation, so white, red, finishing with a blue and a red.
And a red, of course.
Okay, next, if you can see right here on the earring, the sample, we have a couple of little seed beads. I'm sorry, I forgot that you're going to need 4 size 11 seed beads. Add that to your little material list.
Bring it down here so we can see them.
Oh, just 4 seed beads.
Of course, they're really small.
And
They're hard to
actually,
see.
this step is optional. You could just
Okay,
go
if you
without
don't use the seed beads, it will be wrong. It will be completely wrong. You might as well just throw the earrings away. Now, everything's always optional. This is why we make jewelry, isn't it? So that we can do it the way we want.
And I went ahead and put all 4 seed beads on when I made that first earring. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to rotate this around so I can use my right hand to bring the end of this wire up through the second hole on all those Tila beads. So I'm just kind of easing the wire around a little bit. This is why the thinner wires are better. They're more flexible. And I'm just going to feed it up through the second hole on all those Tila beads.
Yeah, it's probably also important that the wire be dead soft. This would be hard with a half hard or a hard wire, I think.
Okay, once you have it all through those Tila beads, what you want to do is cinch it all up so that it's all nice and tight up into that, against that first wrap loop you made. You want 2 of your seed beads on each side of this wire. So once you get those positioned, 2 on each side, go ahead and pull that wire up to make it nice and tight. Okay, you want your Tila beads right on top of your wraps. Right here on the loop.
So the wraps will actually touch the...
So, the wraps actually touch down there. Okay, so I've come up the other side. I'm twisting my wire to make sure that it's lined up the way I want. Now what I'm going to do is what is sometimes referred to as a messy wrap. And that's because it's got to go around the previous wrap that I already made. And to do this, I'm going to use my round nose pliers, and I want to orient this loop. I'm going to move my wire back behind. I'm going to orient this loop over a little bit so it's more between the 2 Tila holes.
Okay.
About like that, okay? Then I'm just going to take that wire that's back behind, wrap it around and around. Again, it's hard to see because I got to keep my hands out here. But you want these wrapped coils to be literally right on top of each other.
Okay, so you're wrapping from the loop down towards the beads? Then?
From the loop down towards the bead.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to orient my here, make sure I'm centered. Right here.
Okay, that looks good.
Okay, and so you can, I want to go one more just because I actually do want a little bit of an organic, messy look. I'm going to flip it over.
You should have had me do it then.
Trim the back hair a little bit.
I'm good at organic and messy.
And then use my chain nose to tuck that end in a little bit. I want to raise it up. I don't want it on top of this bead. I want it up on the wire. Okay. So we're situated pretty good here. Now all I have to do is attach the charm, my flip-flop charm with the jump ring. And to do that, I'm just going to open this jump ring. You probably want to use 2 pair of pliers, like chain nose, bent nose, flat nose. The only 2 I have here are my chain nose and my round nose. So believe it or not, I'm going to do, I can hear Steve over here just
do it all the time.
dying on me, but I'm going to open my jump ring.
I do it all the time.
Put my little charm on, insert it through that loop. I want it through the I want it in the middle, through the 2 beads. Come grab this. Whoops. Whoa. It's going to stay whether I close it or not. That's pretty good.
I'm not going to say a thing. Except that sometimes round nose pliers aren't the best things.
No.
Come in straight with the round nose. There you go. Usually when we're closing a jump ring, you want your pliers, you want the maximum surface on the pliers, but with a little tiny jump ring like this, you know, I'd probably go in straight in with the chain nose.
Okay, I'm just making sure that it's definitely closed. Checking the top, checking the side, and there we go. So we now have the flip-flop on. The last thing is to add the ear wire and we're done. To do that, I just bring my chain nose pliers. These ear wires are like a loop or like a jump ring. You just open the loop, insert that top wrap loop from the earring, close that loop, make sure you got a good closure on that so it won't slip off. And of course I did it backwards. So you open the earring again, turn the earring around. I suggest checking that. I didn't check it, so I deserve to have to do it twice.
That's kind of what I thought.
Close it. And there we have it, the second earring. Anyway, there's the earrings, and they'll go with just about any of the projects that you make from this box. Let's move right on to the Zig-Zag Bracelet. I'll bring it out and show it to you again. I had a lot of fun with this thing. It was just an experiment that kind of turned out right. And the projects, or the material list that you'll need for this, let's see, Steve will have me bring this down a little bit. Put the projects up here. I used 19 of the Tilas. Now that is because I have a rather large clasp on this bracelet. If I was using a much smaller clasp, like maybe a simple jump ring or something, I probably would need to use 1 or 2 more Tilas. I'll show you real quick how this fits on me. I like my bracelet somewhat tight. So this is how the bracelet fits and looks on with 19 Tilas. And I'll tell you its length, not including the clasp, because everybody likes to use a different clasp. So not including the clasp, we are at 6 1/4 inches with 19 Tilas. So if you need it to be a little longer, you'll want to add, I believe the Tilas need to be added in sets of 2. You need an odd number of Tilas so that your bicones and peaks are the same number on each side. So 19 Tilas. I have 9 of the blue 4mm bicone checks, 9 of the red bicone checks. I used a small amount of the Miyuki silver lined dark sapphire. The number is 1129, size 11 seed beads. Doesn't take very many. I didn't actually count them, but there's not very many. And for the red, again, the Miyuki, This is silver lined red. The number is 11910.
Looks like there's basically 3 of those for each of the bicones.
Cones, yeah. So there's just a few of those. You won't even need a full gram of these. You'll need a needle, the needle of your choice. I am going to use the same big eye needle that Steve used on that Tila bracelet that he made up on the last project.
It's amazing the needle still works.
And I'm going to use that new Hercules thread that we mentioned in that last video that we have found. And I'm going to just measure off my standard two arm lengths. Open up the big eye needle.
Yep, she also used our new Cuda shears.
Yes.
It's just fun to say Cuda shears.
I think Steve might have sealed this big eye needle when he last used it.
No, that's a...
Because I can't get it open.
I was so careful with that needle.
There we go. Insert the end of my thread. Bring it down a ways.
This is probably about 6 feet of thread. No, maybe not. Maybe about 5.5.
Yeah. Okay, so now I have my needle and thread. I'm going to move the model up out of the way so that I can start the beading. Okay, I started by picking up 4 of the size 11 seed beads in alternating color. Let's just say blue, red, blue, red. Moved them down, leaving about a 6-inch tail, just enough to weave in the ends that you're going to need. And I'm going to use a white bead as a bead stopper.
Why a white bead?
Just so I know that that's my stopper bead.
Okay.
Because I don't want to use the blue or the
I thought maybe
red.
White meant stop and use a different bead for going.
Okay, this bracelet's pretty straightforward. You just pick up all one side of it and then you come back through and do the second side. So you start by picking up one of the Tilas. I'm going to do the blue side first. And by blue side, I mean the blue bicones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a blue seed bead, another Tila, and then a red seed bead, a blue bicone, and a red seed bead. If I'm working with blue bicones, the 3 seed beads that are associated with it are all in red. If I'm working with a red bicone, then the seed beads are all blue. So here's the red, blue, red. Bring it down. Pick up another Tila. Do a blue seed bead. This seed bead here is the point bead when I will be doing the red crystals. That's why I'm picking up blue, because it actually goes with the red crystal. Another Tila. And then a red seed bead, a blue bicone, a red seed bead. Move them down. Pick up a Tila and a blue seed bead. Pick up a Tila. This is the last time I'll show you it, and then I'll just fast forward right to the end of this section, which is going to be red, blue bicone, red seed bead. Move them down. Okay, I'm going to continue this pattern that you see right here until I have all 19 of my Tilas on, and I will be right back when I've got that done. Okay, I'm back. I just added the 19th Tila in the pattern that you see here. I'm ready to make the loop that's on the other end of the bracelet. It's made by alternating the red and blue seed beads, and you just need 8 of them. So 1 red, 1 blue, 2 red, 2 blue, 3 red, 3 blue, 4 red, 4 blue, gives me a total of 8 seed beads, which you see right there. That makes the end loops that hold the jump ring for the clasp. So move it all the way down to your work. Now we get to do the fun part, which is come back on the other side. And to do that, we just come through that first Tila, but on the second hole, the hole we haven't gone through yet, pull the thread down. My thread, I'm going to actually flip my, no, I don't know which direction it's going to be easier to work just yet, but whichever easier, you can always flip it around to do the other. All right, now what you want to do is you want to look at what's right here. What's supposed to go below the crystal, a blue crystal, is just a single red seed bead. And then we go through the next Tila. And when I am going to move it this way just because it's easier to see, I think.
Well, you need it closer to the middle too.
Okay. When you pull this tight, it creates your first zigzag shape.
Why don't we move it?
Okay. So now, what's between the two Tila is a single blue seed bead. So what you want to pick up is another blue seed bead, the red bicone, and another blue seed bead, because you're using blue seed beads next to a red bicone. Bring it down and needle through. Change to the left hand, I guess. Needle through the next Tila. Okay, if I pull this tight, I've just got the second zigzag. So I look at what's between the Tilas. It's the blue crystal with red seed beads, so it picks up a single red seed bead, and we go through the next Tila. Pull it tight, and we have our third zigzag. I look at what's between the next two Tilas, and it's a single blue seed bead, so I pick up a blue seed bead, a red bicone, a blue seed bead, and I go through the next Tila. Pull my thread, and again pull it tight because that's what is going to create the zigzags. So now we have 4 zigzags. So you just want to continue to do that down this entire side of the bracelet. Okay, I'm back. I have finished the other side, working the red crystal bicones in. I'm down here at the end. Now I just need to duplicate the loop from this end on this end. To do that, I'm going to remove the bead stopper.
Yeah, I noticed you replaced your single bead with a bead stopper.
Yeah.
It was just not stopping.
Pick up by a red, a blue, a red, a blue. I'm going to move it down here to the end. And then I want this to be really tight. So I'm going to tie just a simple square knot here to really tighten up my work. So with the two ends. Probably a double overhand knot would work well too. What I want to do is just make it so that none of my end threads or beads are going to slip off at this point. Okay, so basically this is done, except that if you've noticed, we've only had one pass of thread through it, which makes it not very secure. So I am going to go back through every single bead following the same path that I used to create the bracelet, just to make sure that there are 2 strands of thread through every bead. So as soon as I get that second pass through every bead, I'll come back to you right here at this ending spot again. Okay, so having gone through twice on this whole bracelet, the only thing left to do is to weave your ends in, and then I used a jump ring to attach. In the case of my model here, I attached a magnetic clasp, but you could attach any clasp that you want. You could use a lobster clasp, that works well with a jump ring. Toggle clasp, you usually have to put jump rings on. It's the clasp of your choice, but you would insert a jump ring into each of these end loops and use them to attach your clasp.
So you just take the 2 ends with your thread and pull them back through the beads, and then
right,
and then just trim them.
Right. So if I'm finishing off the one end here, I'm going to weave it through up to this first Tila bead. Again, this is for people who haven't finished off. And then I'm going to tie a half hitch knot right here. And to do that, you go underneath the bridge thread. As you come around, you want to needle through the loop that you're making, and that's called a half hitch knot. Needle through another section of beads. This time I'll go up next to my crystal bead. Same thing. You come underneath the thread, pull it down till where you've got kind of a small loop here, needle through the loop, pull it tight. I like to make at least 3 half hitch knots. So I'll come down here through this Tila. I will come under the bridge thread, pull it down till I've got just a nice little loop here, needle through this loop, pull it tight. I don't like to cut on top of a half hitch knot, so I'll needle through a few more beads. I actually caught my other tail end on that one. Bring it down nice and tight. And then use Steve's Cuda scissors and cut my end. Then all I will do is thread my needle onto this tail, this other tail, probably come up the other side doing the very same thing. Half hitch knots, at least 3 of them, weave it in, cut it, attach jump rings, attach the clasp. And you end up with a pretty bracelet like this one here. It's hard to keep it in. And it would work really well with the earrings we just made. So.
You know what the bracelet reminds me of?
What?
Back when we were kids, we used to take gum wrappers and fold them into length, and then we'd weave them together. This looks just like it. If you had it in the picture. It just looks like those old gum wrapper bracelets that we used to make. Well, everyone else used to make them. I wasn't that talented.
I remember making those. But I haven't done it in years.
Decades. We don't need any gum.
You broke me of that when we got married.
Thank goodness.
Okay, so that was that. Here are the earrings back that we did earlier. And then as promised, I'm just going to kind of talk you through the other couple of projects I made. I think anybody who has handled that zigzag can do this one just fine. This bracelet was done exactly the same way. A length of thread, I put all the beads on and went through a second time to give it a more secure lapse. I have 5 Tilas separated by the red quarter Tilas, and then I start units of 5 seed beads, the red quarter, 5 red quarter, to the length that I need for my wrist. And then make sure I've got the same number on the other side. And then I added 10 beads on the end without putting the quarter Tila in. The jump rings are attached through that loop. In this case, I just did a simple toggle clasp. And again, I'll just show you. I'm never going to get used to doing this on camera.
No one ever does.
Okay, so here's my toggle, which I like this little toggle. It's got a couple little hearts, so if it moves around to the top, I don't mind at all. But I did make it so that these 5 Tilas were kind of the center focal piece. What's really fun is that you can start adding what my one daughter or granddaughters call arm candy. You can wear an arm party. Is that what it is? An arm party. You can put multiples on.
Wow, Debbie, get with the times.
The third bracelet, and again, I don't need to show a tutorial on this. I used 2 12-inch lengths of a 0.6 millimeter stretch cord. I threaded both cords through all the beads at the same time. I didn't go one cord and then try to do the other. I used the ends of both stretch cords, and since there's 2 holes on each bead, put them in. The pattern on this stretch cord bracelet, again, every other bead is one of the red quarter Tilas. I have 2 blue, 2 white, 2 blue, 2 white. Everything separated by a red quarter Tila. That goes all the way around. I added a light gold bell and then attached one of the charms from the box with a jump ring. The knots are tied as a surgeon's knot, 2 of them, pulled up inside of this bell tube so you can't see the knots. And there's the third bracelet. Yeah, I think it goes on like that. Well, I want to make sure the star...
I sure hope you know how to get a bracelet on, a stretch bracelet.
Well, no, I want it so the stars, if you put it backwards, the star is backwards. But here we go. An arm party for the 4th of July. And there's the 3 bracelets, the earrings. Again, I can kind of show you. I was working on this. It's a kind of a work in progress still, but it shows that you can use Tilas and make this would be a V part of the necklace, and whether I chose ribbon or cording or a beaded chain or whatever would be up to the person who wanted to do it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and
hit the like,
hit the like button, the subscribe button.
Yeah, hit the little bell so that you're notified of any future videos.
If you want more videos like this, then give me a comment. And
give you a comment. I'll comment.
If I can get these off, here we go. So this is Debbie from Homestone Jewelry, and I'm saying goodbye. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time. this wire tighter. It helps sometimes if you...
we love our magnetic clasps, don't we?
helps sometimes. Hold it while you... Oops. We're going to have to stop. You don't get to put this in the video.